Woohoo! Good afternoon, Faithful Transportation. Good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining me for your weekly training. This will be a good one this week. Start off with our mission and core values. The mission of Faithful Transportation is that every student feels valued and has a safe run. And we do that through safety, professionalism, and connecting first. So I want to start off again with a thank you. Thank you for everybody who was super flexible last week during the hurricane rains. I think it was Ida that came through. We were not expecting that school districts were going to make the decisions that they did on the time frame that they did, but every student got home safely. Every driver really stepped up. Honestly, I couldn't be more proud of the drivers, but also the team in the office. Jen, Denise, Hector, and everybody else just did a great job managing that chaos. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for stepping up this week. We had a lot of open shifts yesterday and today, and Monday again is another day where a lot of drivers have requested off, and we still have at least 2 open shifts on Monday morning and 2 open shifts Monday afternoon. So if anybody has any extra availability for the foreseeable future, that's our last day where we have a lot of open shifts, and I'll be making these. I'll stop making these appeals to you hopefully very soon, because we're bringing on new drivers, and from here on out things are looking really smooth. So let's see. I have one tip for today, and then I'm going to bring on one of our drivers to talk about some successes that he's had in the van so far. My only tip / reminder for this week is to please follow the run sheet. So I know very well that when that run sheet is made, when it hits the ground, it kind of hits reality. Things can change a little bit, whether it's traffic or construction, or it looks good on paper but doesn't quite work on the actual run sheet. Please follow the run sheet, and if you make changes, you need to go through Jen directly to make those changes, because there's been a few different times where drivers have picked up one student before another student, kind of flip-flop what was on the run sheet because they thought that it worked better, and did not communicate that to the office. And then a sub driver went on it. That sub driver, of course, is following the run sheet. They didn't know what was going on, and a lot of extra phone calls. And at the end of the day, unhappy parents, because not only do our parents want their kids valued and transported to school safely, they want as much consistency as possible in their pickup time. So all that to say, please follow the run sheet. If you do recommend changes, we want to hear them. Communicate those changes to Jen to make sure that we can approve those changes and communicate those to the school districts and the families to make these runs as smooth as possible. Okay, so I'm going to introduce to you Lewis, who is one of our longtime drivers, has worked with a lot of different students, and he came into my office earlier today and was telling me of just the things that are happening on his van with a few of the students, and I wanted to bring him on to share just how he's connecting to the students in his van. So here he is.
Bueno, mi gente, what's good? How you doing, this your man, your boy Lewis. Of course, you know me, I'm always active. So thank you, Dave. Well, what I want to share today is with a student that I heard a lot about that was very difficult last year. And this is my first year with him. So I took him on. So I suggest to other drivers is following. So when you have new students, here and there, I know things will be a little worrisome, but if you take the time and you start studying them, at least give it a week or 2, start studying, figure out what they like, figure out what they're into, and find your way in, which leads me to today's story. I had a student who goes by the name of Austin. And I was told that, he was very difficult. I mean, hard to handle and so forth. And I said, I accept the challenge. And I observed him for a week, saw what he was into. He has a very unique mindset. He has a very strong imagination. And I use that to my advantage, to get into his world and, coexist with him and learn about him, talk here and there. So long story short, I did the impossible today with him. And the last couple of days, I made him laugh to the point where he was in tears. And I also got a new dance out of him called King Boss, which people were surprised. How did you make him dance? Then I got my tummy trick. My stomach talks to him, and I tell him, don't mention the secret word. He goes, what? Applebee's. Then he says steaks. And, all of a sudden I just started making voices. Oh, yeah. So he was cracking up, and it was a good feel for me because I finally turned around and, started leveling out with him. So if you have a student that's difficult and you feel that you can't get to that student, just take your time. Sit back, analyze, look, and figure it out. It's not too hard to do. You just have to have patience. And once you do that and you are in that door, let me tell you something, the rewards are immense. I'm here not because of the money. I'm here because of the students, because they make me feel good at the end of the day, just like I make them feel good at the end of the day. We have a mutual goal. And just like the boss says, and it's not that hard to do so. You got to be willing and dedicated, and open-minded to dedicate yourself and open up to your children as well as they will open up to you. So with that in mind, just have patience, turn on the radio, listen, observe, and you're going to get the best results ever. I'm Lewis. I'm out of here. I love you guys. Love every driver. Love the job. Out of here, baby.
Thanks. Thanks, Lewis. So I wanted to highlight, I love Lewis's energy, and I wanted to highlight two things. One is that the student that he's talking about has had a lot of incident reports in the previous years. And so it's not a small thing that he's not only just behaving safely, but connecting really well. The other thing I want to highlight with Lewis's little talk is that Austin has a really strong imagination, and it would be very easy for any of us to be dismissive of that. And instead of Lewis being dismissive of, sometimes just this really strong imagination that doesn't quite correlate to reality, the drive or anything like that, instead of Lewis dismissing that, he's chosen to engage with that, and just making that little bit of kind of engagement where the student was at. Now that little hinge, that door is wide open, and there's a great connection, great behavior. And I'm looking forward to see what else can come from the school year. So I hope that's inspiring to you. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday. And once again, hopefully I'll see an extra 2 or 3 people each shift Monday morning and Monday afternoon. Have a great one.
There you go, boss. Success.
Beautiful.